Hello everybody, SeKo Starcraft back with Game 2 between Sase up here in the top left and Marineking, the most prime of all Marine Kings, down here in the bottom left. Game 1 was a very interesting game. Two unconventional openings. We had a barracks with a reactor opening out of our Terran player, letting him get out some Reapers and some Marines. But on the other side, we also saw Sase save up all this Chrono Boost, use it on getting out a fast Mothership Core Zealot and a Stalker to go put pressure on a Terran expand. And they kind of just cancelled each other out. Didn't really do too much of anything. The Terran player stabilized, but the Reapers kept the Protoss quite delayed in getting out his expansion. Then we saw Marine King just be Marine King and make a very solid bio army and just chip away at the Protoss until I think at the end of the game the supply difference was 150 to 50. So it was it's a pretty good game on his side. It looks like it's going to be a CC first, I imagine, over here. Maybe. It would make more sense. Well, 3 SCVs queued up. It's pretty certain going to be that sort of thing. We also have the Chrono Boost on the probes on this side for a Nexus first. So we'll see who has the better complete greed opening between these two players. It's not like in my mind, I still can't bring myself to do this as a Terran or a Protoss player, just a complete straight up balls to the wall expansion first. I can, however, wait a second. No, we didn't go for a Nexus first on this side. Spooky. I quite expected that to happen. The only time I'll do something like this is if I'm playing against one of my friends that I know is still fairly new at the game and isn't going to punish me for it. But when you're playing in the low leagues like me, it's just too often somebody's going to make, like... cheese games are almost 50% of the time. So I know it's great to be able to just play this kind of macro style and have a bit of fun. But if you just get cheesed half the time, yeah, you feel sad about it at the end of it. Also, we had a bit of a debate recently as to what really quantifies cheese. And I think there is such a thing as economic cheese. Like, cheese is just something in my mind that is non-standard, that is designed to give you an advantage in the early game. You don't really cheese in the mid and late game. That's just putting in different strategies. So an early game cheese could be a proxy racks. It could be like Widow Mine drops. But a lot of people can argue, well, that's just a strategy I'm using. So if you can argue that everything's a strategy, you can argue that just about anything is a cheese. So in my mind, I would consider this economic cheese. It is standard enough that most people wouldn't consider it cheesy like a 4-gate, but it is not completely standard and common, and it's designed to give you an advantage. We actually have 0 gas. 3 racks expand. I think it's super cool, and we've had no scouting whatsoever out of the Terran player, which I think is quite strange, particularly after the opening that Sase had last game. It is pretty often in Whirlwind where you have this giant friggin' map to just go for much more no-touch style openings. But in the same instance, every now and then you just get people that are perfectly fine with doing some sort of cheese, just because, you know, you're just playing the odds at that point if you just get a complete build order win. So there's a bit of a tech advantage, obviously, for the Protoss player on cybernetics research. We've just started getting gas now for the Terran on this side. If we look at the economy, pretty even. A little bit of a lead for the Protoss player that obviously can be chrono boosting out those probes. Sase knows that the Terran's in the bottom left, so it's just going to hide a pylon down here to start with regardless. It's interesting that the Marines are all back up here at the top of the ramp. Ooh, great pullback there on that probe. So it's not like there's anything that's on the top of Sase's mind here to go punish. I mean, there's 4 gates following up behind this, 5 gates. Any more gates? This guy's still sitting here, so I almost expect him. There we go. There's all the gates. So we've got 6 gate, 2 base pressure that looks like it's going to be coming out of our Protoss friend here. Pure Marine stim. Ooh. Don't lose the mule. Marine King. The interesting thing is that's generally a tell of where your opponent is. I like putting the pylons all over the map. there's almost no reason not to if you've got a few minerals laying around. Just gives you that opportunity to be able to warp in units at all different points when you need to. There are upgrades. We see once again the upgrades are being skipped. Is that another? Is this a 7 gate? No, just the 6. Oh, that's 5. Do your math. 7 gates. So, that's a pretty good tell that there's aggression down here. If you can get a great time warp on these units, it'll be the perfect time to attack. There we go. This is the perfect time to attack in the front. All these units are stuck in a slow time warp. I mean, the bunker will go down. Great pullback there by Marine King. Saves most of those units from just getting trapped right up at the front. The Stalker warp in, I don't know if it's the best. Stimpack's about to finish. Great pull here of the SCVs. It's going to really help them chew through this army. I mean, you do lose some economy for that. But the really important thing for right now for Marine King is just to survive. This looks pretty formidable here. Might want to lift that wall up again. The +1 and the stim are finished, so they are cutting through these units much faster now. We've already had 16 workers lost for Marine King during this whole time. So he's not really in great shape. Fresh warp in, he's just going to keep the pressure up. Medevacs are on the way. That's going to be the big key here. Woo. He shot his own. Supply depot there for a second. Medevacs are out. Rally up to the front. There you go. Non-stop pressure now. It's pretty much all I expect to see out of Sase. He's got the Terran kind of on the ropes. He's killed a lot of SCVs. But unfortunately now he's got to try to kill down the wall so he can actually get on top of this army. Guardian Shield did a pretty good job against these Marines. Not much left of an army. Is this the end of Marine King? It's gotta be. I mean, the supplies aren't that different. He is gonna pull some more workers to help with this. It is smart to kill off these supply depots, try to supply block his opponents. Marine King is now supply blocked. I just don't see how Marine King is going to get back from this. This is really solid, constant aggression. Next warp in is about ready. Picking up these medevacs should be very worthwhile. Concussive shells about to finish up. More supply depots, because there's a big supply block right now. The Marines are the important things here, and they're just... Wow. Big warpins again. This is interesting. This is much closer than I thought it was. I thought Sase had the lead here by a mile. That SCV was a hero there. It actually stalled a bunch of zealots. That was really funny. Does kill the forward pylon. There is one up here though. Oh, there's two up here. Run home. Most of these medevacs have been pretty badly beat up, but you see the supply leads now all of a sudden shifted back into Marine King. Wow. That's really interesting. He's individually microing his marauders to try and slow down the enemy units. Man, that turned around quickly. Anybody else in those positions down here when that wall went down, the zealots were in, all the SCVs down here died. They had just folded. It folded like a cheap lawn chair. Get back to my drink here. Just appreciate how good that was. And now he's taking a 30 supply lead. I don't even understand how that happened. Look how piddly this army is now. Bricks. I guess he still doesn't know where his opponent is. That's kind of funny. And where's the mothership core during all that? I think some time warp sort of helped out a lot. Ooh, I do like the zealot run by though. It's pretty sexy. Ooh, just saves that last SCV. Well, Sase's pulled in a few more units here. It cost him a bit of his defense though to try to push in and do that damage. That's a pretty solid block of bio. I think he's just gonna run right up the ramp. Not too sure what the scan was all about, unless that's him just, like, saying, get the hell out of my game. Wow. That was one of the closest holds I've ever seen. And it turned around just like a snap, and all of a sudden Marineking was in the lead. Very entertaining. Super, super impressed with his play. And that is the Marineking I used to know and love. Thank you very much for tuning in to SeKo Starcraft, and we'll see you guys later.